We'll talk about that.
It's quite poor. Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Ian. If you've not been here before, this channel is all about music and art, and we're going to do something a little bit different in this series of videos. I have some loudspeakers which I've had for many years, and they are by a company called Allison Acoustics. Now, a little bit of background here before we get on to what the real problems are with my speakers. Allison Acoustics were designed by a man called Roy Allison, who used to work for a company called Acoustic Research. Acoustic Research makes great speakers, and in the studio I have a pair of AR-18s, not designed by Roy Allison, but they are great little bookshelf speakers, and they work as a second pair, basically a pair of hi-fi speakers. And back in the 80s, in a lot of professional recording studios, you would find either Yamaha NS10s or AR-18s as a second pair of speakers, just like a pair of hi-fi speakers. Anyway, I have a pair here. I've also got a couple of other pairs in storage. Massive fan of Allison and Acoustic Research. And back in the 80s, I ran a hi-fi company, a hi-fi shop, and we were an Allison and an AR dealer. And we used to stock the Allison acoustic range. So what happened is that Roy Allison, who'd worked for I think about 13, 14 years for Acoustic Research, and he was the vice president of manufacturing and design. And now he will have designed some of the speakers, and these were early AR designs, so AR2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, things like that. And he left in 1973, and he spent a year researching room design, really, because he was the first person to come up with the idea that clearly the room affects the speaker that's in it. So he started to work on designs that would take the room into account, and he came up with Allison loudspeakers. So, and he ran that company until I think it was the late 80s, along with some partners from who originally had worked at AR. And then he sold that company on, and he formed a company called RDL, which was Room Design Loudspeakers. The pair of speakers that I've got a problem with are a pair of Allison Acoustics, and they're the Architect range. Now, I don't think the Architect range was available in the US. I think it was designed specifically for the UK. They are a floor standing speaker. One of the first problems with them is, how do you get into them? I'll show you how you can get into them, and we'll have a look at the speakers and we'll see what condition they're in. So the way that we remove the grill cloths on the Allisons is that we need to get behind this top panel. Whoops. So ease that off, and then we can see that the Allison is stapled all the way around. Now it looks to me like this has been taken off before, because they're normally much bigger staples than that. But we'll remove those staples and we'll see what the drivers look like. So now we can see what the problem is. And it's probably the same on the other drive unit. The tweeter looks fine, but the foam surround on the drive unit, the woofer, the base unit, has deteriorated. Which, as these speakers were from the late 80s, early 90s, that happens really. The drive unit itself is probably okay. It's hard to tell. And take the drive unit out and see if we can fix it. Let's do the other one. And as we see, this speaker is exactly the same as the other one. Tweeter looks fine. The woofer, all the surround has deteriorated. So as you see, the quality, the speaker outside is in pretty poor condition. So what we need now is we need to buy a kit, which I have ordered from a company in the UK. And I'll put links to them down below. They do lots of this sort of recon kit. As soon as the kit arrives, we'll go through the process of cleaning all of this off, because it takes a little bit of work, and we'll do this on both drive units, and we will see if we can make them as new. I did mention previously that I do have another pair of speakers, and the speakers that I've got in my lounge are a pair of RDL. So this was Roy Allison's later company, the RDL range, the Room Dynamic Loudspeaker range. And they are equivalent to Roy Allison's 6s, which was his first classic, you'd call them, they were a budget speaker. Now I do know that I've done a little bit of research, and they're called, I think they're called the RD1s. Anyway, these speakers, when they were new, would cost about $600. I think here in the UK, they were never actually, the RDL range were never, I believe, imported into the UK. But because we were an Allison dealer, I was offered these by the UK importer. I think my RDL speakers are the only pair that's in the UK. Maybe somebody else bought others in, I don't know, but I've certainly never seen another pair. There's plenty out in the States where Roy Allison companies were obviously based. In the next video, we'll get on to stripping out all of this old foam and cleaning it up and replacing it with some new foam. So I'll see you in the next video. So thanks so much for watching. Cheers now. Bye bye.